Hello, this is Brother Johnny Williams with another edition of In the Word. Tonight will be a life lessons testimony conversation that we're going to have, and the topic will be living in the past. And I want to dive right in here. So often I hear of failed relationships, failed marriages, and so on. And the one thing that I hear constantly is this person just can't give up what used to happen to them. Now, let's look at that real closely. Let me get into relationships first, and then we'll get back to living in the past. A relationship is not an easy thing with two people trying to be as one. It takes hard work. You've heard me say it before. But it makes it even harder when one person does not want to relinquish things that they are used to doing, such as, let's say, a young man, he's used to staying up all night, staying out all night, going to clubs, going to parties, or hanging around with his friends. Well, when you get married or you get in a relationship, your significant other may not like that. I can speak from experience. A woman is not going to want you just doing what you want to do when you want to do it. It doesn't work that way. Again, especially your time, she wants that. And you still thinking single mindedly, so to speak, it's going to create a problem. So, just to give you, or as I say, set the foundation for our talks, the problem or the problems that arise from you living in the past can actually destroy you. So let me give you an example. I keep hearing these women, and again, let me back up. Not just women, but men. This is going to be twofold. This is going to be both for women and for men. So when I'm speaking, or when I talk about a situation, I'm actually speaking from a woman's and a man's point of view. I wanted to clear that up. I keep hearing, and again, I've had people confide in me things like, I just can't seem to get him or her to cooperate. They just keep doing things that I just don't like. And I ask them to explain it to me. And every time they go to explain it to me, it comes all the way back to that single minded thinking. Not thinking as one, but single minded thinking. So, as I always say, I'm going to talk real to you. So let's get into some real talk here for our living in the past. Brothers, let me tell you something. A real woman is not going to let you do what you want to do. You're not going to come when you get ready. You're not going to go when you get ready. You're not going to say what you want to say when you get ready to say it. It just doesn't work that way. There's no nice way to put it. I just put it out there in real talk. Women, a man is not going to let you do what you want to do, say what you want to say, dress the way you want to dress. It's not going to happen. Let me put it this way. I don't care what my wife may want to do. If it is not correct in my eyes, she's not going to do it. Vice versa. I don't care what I want to do. If my wife doesn't want me to do it, then I'm not going to do it. Now, the decision to say what I'm not going to do or what she's not going to do is going to come from love and respect. It's not just going to be a frivolous talk. I'm slinging my testosterone. No, you're not going to do this. I'm the man. No, it doesn't work that way. It comes from love and respect. We both, or you and your significant other both, you are a reflection of one another. What you do reflects on him. What he does reflects on you. Again, it's all about respect. Hence, I hear some of these women and I see some of this stuff on Facebook. I want a man to do this and I want a man to do that. I want him to rub my back. I want him to do this. I want him to do that. And I want him to love me. Well, let me ask you this. If you get one to do all that, are you going to be willing to do what he asks you to do? That's the question which you need to be asking yourself. Don't live in the past. See, you used to hang around with your homegirls and used to going to the club or used to going to the casino or you used to hanging over here or hanging over there. Well, when you get a significant other, you're not going to be able to do that. You know why you're not going to be able to do that? Because if he cares about you, hear that I want your time comes in. It's about you and him and you, nothing else. You ought to get to know one another. You ought to get to grow with one another. And knowing and growing with one another builds respect. One day you might have children, a very serious undertaking. And if you do have children, I'm pretty sure you want to instill the right values in them. You don't want them just running around doing anything, saying anything. It takes work to do that. And it takes a combined effort from two people in order to achieve the goal that you have set, especially for your children. Well, actually, your entire life. Now, let's get back to the topic living in the past. I have seen marriages, as I said earlier, destroyed because one side cannot let go of the things in the past. Let me give you an example. I knew this person that every time something would happen, I knew that was going to happen. I mean, it used to happen to me all the time, and I just can't seem to get away from it. And I asked this person, would you stop, step back, look in the mirror, humble yourself, and you will see that it is you that is calling it because you are looking for it to happen and you are making ways for that to manifest itself. Such as, sad to say, such as a woman that's in a physically abusive relationship. Now, you might not want to admit this, but I've known women that actually force a physical altercation. It's like they're not happy unless they're fighting or arguing. Well, this other person may not want that. And what happens? They have to go their separate ways. Simply because a person can't let go of the past. I know people that can't rear the children the correct way because they're thinking about things that happened in the past by a man walking away, leaving them. Well, let me tell you something, sister, that's not a man that walks away and leaves you and those children. A man doesn't walk away and leave his children. He stays there with his children. He stays there with you. He's there for the long haul. Because he knew from the beginning that was a serious undertaking when he has children. Or I'll go even further. When you go into a relationship with children already, that's a very rocky situation. Because the first thing that happens is in the back of that person's mind, regardless of what you say or what you feel, in the back of that person's mind, they're thinking, this is not my children's father. And I have to be careful. But now flip that coin over. And I'm going to witness to this. I went into a situation where there was a child already. And again, the only thing I saw was the child that he'd taken care of. But this person may have been in a relationship where somebody just walked off and left her high and dry. She may have been doing all that she could that was right. And this person just wasn't ready for a relationship and just walked off and left her. And in the back of her mind, she's trying to see if you are going to do the same thing. And that may put a barrier between you, her, and the children. And it may take some time for that person to get past that barrier. You have to be patient to deal with that person in order for them to get through that barrier. It takes time, but it can be done. Again, living witness here, I've done it. The past is a very useful tool to us to draw from past experiences in order to make decisions about things that happen or are happening now. It's a good tool. But to constantly live in it, because there are things in my past that I've done that, quite frankly, there's no way I want to repeat them again. I draw on those experiences whenever I see something that comes up that's similar, sorry, to something that happened to me in the past that was unpleasant. I tend to avoid it, cut it off short. But let's just say you're a person, I'll just say short-sighted. You're not grounded. Things just continually happen to you because of your short-sightedness. Now, I made a phrase here not too long ago, and I'll interject that phrase again. Pay attention. Nothing cannot teach nothing to be something. Now, if you live long enough, you'll understand that. But if you haven't lived long enough, let me break it down to you. I saw a phrase today where I think the exact words were these youngsters are ready to do 5 to 20 in prison, but they can't do 1 to 12 in school. Think about that for a minute. How could a child or a young person get the mindset that they don't mind going to jail? They don't mind going to prison. How could they get that mindset? They had to get it from somewhere. Well, I heard another pastor doing a sermon, and he said this: you need to teach your child, because if you don't teach your child, believe me, somebody else is going to be teaching them, and they may not be teaching them the right way. Thus, that's where these mindsets come from, the wrong mindsets, especially with your children. But getting back to that statement, I said we, not you. I said we are the ones that enable these children to have these types of mindset. And not until trouble actually hits and there's no reprieve from it, when them doors slam on them, they see they can't get out of it, then you want to holler, "Oh Lord." Well, that's not the time to holler, "Oh Lord." You should have been hollering, "Oh Lord," all the time when this child was when you were in your child rearing stage, so that you could effectively teach this child the right thing that he or she needs in order to be successful, or have a good chance at being successful, at living. It seems that some people do not learn from their past. But I have to say this, and I tell a person, pay close attention. If you've been in a bad relationship and you start to get in another one, can't you draw from that past experience and see what you're about to get into? You see how smart you are? But if you continually blindly go into things and you don't see it until it's too late, the next thing you're gonna look up and you're so old that it seems like a steady relationship is beyond you. And then you look back and you see all the mistakes, and it's so sad. And you be saying, "Oh, I wish I woulda, shoulda, coulda." And each and every time I get a chance, as always, I speak about the family. I'm going to interject this. Take time with your children. They are your and our future. They are the ones that are going to continue here when we are gone. Wouldn't you want, I know I do, and I will boldly say this, as long as I live, all those in my family that have gone on before me will never die. I have promised each, most, I'll take it back, I've promised most of them before they did pass away. Don't worry, this old boy, he'll never let you die. You'll always be remembered. To live your life and to know without a shadow of a doubt that you have someone that will continue to spread the word or project the aura that you projected all your life is a beautiful thing. I know me, it gives me peace of mind because see, I'm watching my road now. I'm nurturing one that I'll be sure that will carry on when I pass on. But getting back to our topic, living in the past, I did all this talking, but there's a message in all the talking that I've done tonight. This message is, ladies and gentlemen, please be able to recognize a blessing when it comes along. You know, I'm gonna talk real here again. If you were like me, you were born, to a poor family, you were raised up, you didn't have, too many things, and you had in the back of your mind that one day things will get better. Will you be able to recognize when things do get better? Like I said, when that ball comes to you, will you be able to grab it and keep going with it? Always pray, like my mother taught me. Son, always keep Jesus on your mind. Always pray and always treat people right. Wear your blessings well and learn to recognize when your blessings come along. Now, I'm going to stop right there on that, and then I'm going to get into testimony. As always, I use myself, and it's going to be based on also living in the past. This is when I was away from here. I was out in California, and it was almost coinciding with the same time that I met my wife. I had met her, yet I had seen her, but I hadn't met her yet. We were in the same apartments. But there was another young lady that I knew when I was staying with my brother-in-law. And listen to this one. I used to notice this young lady, and I noticed this guy that she had. And I must say, she was a fair-looking young lady, but this guy talked to her something terrible. I mean, I couldn't understand, a nice-looking young lady there. Why would he talk to her? Why would he treat her like that? And I would always see her crying, and she had a habit of sucking her thumb when she got nervous, and I'd always see her doing that. And one day, I believe I was staying with my brother-in-law, and I believe she, some kind of way they were acquainted, and I came in to the room, and I sit down, and he introduced me to her, and we was talking, and we kept talking, and we kept talking, and some of the conversation that she had was kind of intriguing. The more we talked, the more I kind of started feeling a liking for this young lady. Now, all this time that me and this young lady was talking, not once did I see this guy that used to talk to her like that. But one day, I was coming up some stairs. There were stairs that come up to the apartment that me and my brother-in-law stayed in, and she was coming from it was an upper level, and she was coming from the opposite direction. And I stopped and I spoke to her, but from the corner of my eye looking, I could see him standing off to my right, and he saw me talking to her that one time. And my God, He turned on the charm. Yeah, it was baby this and baby that and baby this and baby that. And of course, her still having feelings for him, she fell for it. And it seemed like everything was going okay. I've never been one to intrude, so I left that alone. And eventually I met my wife. But the ironic thing about that is, when this guy saw that I wasn't interested in her, he started treating her like a piece of dirt again. Just talking to her all kinds of ways, cursing her and doing some everything. Now, the moral of that, again, about living in the past. Again, this young lady started living in the past again. She started living in the past, believing these things that he was telling her. But she wasn't smart enough to see those things that he had did to her. Why? Because I'm not going to call it love. I'll call it lust. A strong lust for this man. And this lust blinded her. Blinded her to the fact that this man had the idea and the thought that he could do whatever he wanted to do whenever he wanted to do it. Now, my moral here is, I want you to look around and you tell me how many times have you seen that exact situation throughout your life? And I want you to ask yourself this question. Has that ever happened to me? Or would I want something like that to happen to one of my children as a result of me neglecting what I'm supposed to do is guide my children? Pretty sad story. And I see that a lot these days. That's why I did a sermon, Women Know Your Worth. Women ought to be respected at all times. They are a man's pride and joy. A man. Okay. A man understands that. A boy or a so-called man is not going to understand it because he has suffered none. Now, again, as always, I hope that someone has taken something or learned something from this conversation that we had tonight. And as always, if there are any comments, any questions, drop a line. There's a comment section on my page. Just drop a comment. If you have a question, I'll be more than happy to answer you or consult with you. I'll close on that one. We're getting better all the time. We're getting better all the time. We aren't what we ought to be, but we are better than we used to be. You know why? Because we have a made up mind. Thank you. And I really hope that you enjoyed this Life Lessons testimony. God bless you.